All right, it's about a month before Pokemon Day, right? We're expecting to get the announcement of new Pokemon games, specifically Generation 10, but I kind of have a little bit of a theory here. This is a hunch, and this also comes out of a place of, I guess, like I want to be realistic, but I think also, I guess I want to be realistic. I'm like in the bargaining phase. This idea is that I think Pokemon X and Y, there's a chance that Pokemon X and Y could be HD ported to the Switch 2. Okay, Pokemon X and Y. Why? Why am I thinking this? Well, we all played Pokemon Legends ZA, right? This game is like a sequel to X and Y. It only takes place in Lumio City. Pretty cool concept. It expands on the plot. It expands on the characters. And when I say characters, I mean like we get brand new characters. But AZ is in the game. A lot of the Pokemon like Zygarde are in the game. Lysander, kind of, Team Flare, there's kind of like a wrap-up of their story. And I guess I just can't help but also kind of wonder. My biggest hope for Legends ZA and the DLC was that we're going to be seeing, I guess, a lot of the content and characters and, even legendary Pokemon getting expansions of their stories in DLC. That's kind of what I was hoping for. We even got the main character, Ansha, of the DLC, Mega Dimension. It's confirmed that her mother is Diantha, the champion of Pokemon X and Y. And so I guess what I'm thinking about, right, is there a reason? What I want to ask is there a reason that we did not see so many returning characters, right? Gym leaders, Elite Four members, a lot of, features like the Battle Maison, features like the Friend Safari. I would say, yes, I talked about Diantha. Professor Sycamore is teased to, he's mentioned, but it's like, he's just away. He's doing his own thing. Xerneas and Yveltal also didn't even get, proper treatment. And I get that on one hand, because Xerneas and Yveltal, it's like, this isn't their story. They got the Zygarde treatment, right? That Zygarde got in Pokemon X and Y. Where's Mewtwo? Again, Mewtwo, I guess we do get Mewtwo. We do get Diancie. We do get Hoopa. Hoopa is expanded on. That's really, really great. Volcanion is not. Volcanion is not. We don't get proper treatment of Volcanion in Legends ZA. And I guess this kind of got me thinking. It kind of got me coping and wondering. What I just said makes sense, right? Xerneas and Yveltal, you can get them in ZA, but they have their own story in X and Y. But from Game Freak and the Pokemon Company's perspective, that only matters if you can easily get Pokemon X and Y. If players can obtain these games and experience these stories for themselves. So listen, you know where I'm going with this. This isn't really like a hard prediction. This is an idea. It just makes me wonder why, right? We went back to Kalos, but why all these things why these characters weren't brought back to complement and enrich, Lumio City and the experience of ZA. It's literally a city. This is where people from all over the Kalos region, they could gather to ZA. And the easiest thing is you just make these characters, you give them new teams, new megas, and you let them play and compete in the Infinite Royale. That's the easiest way you could have done this, where there's not even story reasons, but you get to battle these people. They maybe say a couple, lines of flavor text. You learn a little bit about maybe where they are 5 years later. That's a lot of fun. And they did, and Game Freak did not do this in ZA. So it kind of has me thinking, could we see an HD port of Pokemon X and Y on the Switch 2? This right here, this gameplay footage, this is from the YouTube channel Tritonex. I just found this, but it's gameplay footage, it's HD gameplay footage of X and Y on a Citra emulator. And I've also been seeing these new handhelds going around. I'm forgetting what it's called right now, but it is a Android handheld device that is a clamshell. It's a DS. It's a 3DS. It's like a beefy 3DS with like the technology in it, and the screen displays. It's an Android device. It has 2 screens, and it's able. And I've been seeing gameplay of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Gen 7 games X and Y, in Ultra HD, and these games look amazing. These games literally look flawless. I don't know if this, I would imagine it is super possible and easy if someone else can emulate these games and make them look this good. And literally in the display, like okay, let's bring it back to the Switch 2. What's possible? The Switch 2 has 1 screen. I'm not going to do any other additional coping of what could be or what could be whatever. But like the layout that you're seeing right now, where it's like you have the main Switch, the top screen is the primary thing. These battles look so good. These battles look good enough to just port onto the Switch 2. People would buy these. People would play these. And if they wanted to go a step further so they could justify charging $60 or $70 per game, right? A la like a BDSP. You just do a little bit extra where you take the time to integrate that bottom screen into the top screen or something, right? But they literally could. What I'm saying is give us an HD port of X and Y that is the expansion. If it kind of functions like a sequel. It's not like a story sequel, but it's like a good follow-up to X and Y. I'm sorry, to ZA, because you play ZA, you learn the story of Lumio City, and now you play the prequel, which is actually the entire region of Kalos. And what I'm always tripped up on is how many of these things are possible, right? I've got a lot of fun ideas about how ideally every single Pokemon game could be brought onto the Switch 2 or into modern consoles to be played alongside whatever the mainline games are, the most modern games, right? But they can't do that all at once because that's just going to take away, I would think, because it's like they got, Game Freak has to, or a third-party company has to create these games, then they got to market them, and then it takes purchases away from the latest games. So it's like, how do they do this? Is it even possible? But I just can't help, when I'm playing ZA, I can't help but think, like, and at this point, I don't think we're going to get Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because I realized those legendaries, those fights in Mega Dimension are sick, and that's what those fights are for. Those fights are a replacement for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. But I think X and Y, there's a whole region here that it could be explored. And I think it would be so much fun. Like, literally, okay, and this is, okay, the HD port, that's my bargaining phase suggestion, right? But from the Terra leak, we did get, this is a 2024, or I guess a 2023, this is a document. It's a proposed timeline, an internal timeline for Game Freak. This is official. This image is official, and it's depicting the timeline of all their Game Freak titles. But what this does not account for is anything third party. And so what I'm saying is, even though we know this and we know what Game Freak is working on, right? They're going to be working on Generation 10. They're going to be working on another Legends game. They're going to be working on and thinking about games even, beyond that into Generation 11. They're going to be thinking about those games. All of this might not actually come into fruition, but regardless, there are, non-Game Freak Pokemon projects that are releasing that wouldn't be on that list. And what I'm suggesting is one of these things could be a BDSP style, quote unquote, remaster, remake. And really, I'm looking at this as like a remaster, because the truth is, Pokemon X and Y, let's see like an overworld shot right here. Pokemon X and Y is already a chibi game. They don't need to make them any smaller. You literally take X and Y, you take the game, and then you just tweak it a little bit. So the online works with the Switch 2. So the PSS is a button. You click it, it opens up. You click it, it opens up. Now you can do the PSS. You close it, okay, and you keep playing. Nothing in this game needs to be changed. Nothing in this game needs to be changed. All it would need to be is adapted to the Switch 2. And again, the benefit is that you are now introducing all of these new characters that for over a decade no one has access to. Xerneas and Evoltal, we could see their story again, right? Volcanion, like that. I mean, if you want to go totally crazy, then that's when you start saying, is there going to be post game? I'm not saying any of that, but what I'm talking about is the what do you call it? The intellectual property, right? What I'm talking about are these like legacy characters, gym leaders, Elite Four members, right? All of these things. No one knows what they are. I know what they are. You know what they are if you're watching this. But new fans of the series, like this is what I harp on. My niece, who is 9, who started with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, she played Scarlet and Violet for 2 years. I just gave her Sword and Shield, and she loves Pokemon. She had never played it. She's never had a 3DS. She's never had a DS. She's never had a Game Boy. She hasn't played any of these games. She's never played X and Y. She's actually never played ZA because it's like, you know, like a real-time game. She's never played Arceus. I don't think she'd be equipped for that. Maybe she would be. She's actually getting pretty good at video games. And she will play that eventually on her Switch. And she will play BDSP. Honestly, I should give her BDSP. She'd probably have fun with that. She would have fun with that. And I think, you know what else she would have fun with? An X and Y port that she could easily play. She'd be like, wow, look at all these new Pokemon. I love Fennekin. Look at all this. This is amazing. Oh, she's a girly girl. I guarantee she would love Diantha. I could care less about Diantha. I guarantee my niece would like Diantha. And I think that's the benefit. And for if you're watching this video right now, the benefit for you is that you're able to replay these games, right? And also on better hardware, right? On a Switch 2 versus a 3DS, this game also could just very natively run faster. X and Y is kind of slow. This game could run really fast because it's just I'm not even going to pretend to understand the tech of how these games run, but all I know is that playing Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 2, the whole game runs faster. Now imagine a 3DS game on Switch 2. It's going to run faster. The colors are going to be more vibrant. The whole game's going to be HD for one. And then you just kind of I don't know, man. I don't know. It just sounds like a blast. Let me know what you think. Do you think we're going to get, do you think we could get, do you think there is value in getting an X and Y port, an HD port of X and Y on the Switch 2? Let me know what you think. Subscribe for more opinions, theories. And this is the second channel. Go check out the main channel, Dusty Go Goat. Appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon.